Hey, welcome to Coaching with Tally, wrapping up our series on Windows to the Soul, all about emotional healing. We are holistic, mind, soul, body, and spirit, and if we're going to have a joy-filled life, then we get to be integrated in all the parts of ourselves, our mind, our body, our soul, and our spirit. So we have been doing a deeper dive at that soul level because all of us experience pain in life. All of us have things that we do subconsciously. Our brain works to take care of us, and we have things that we do subconsciously that end up actually hurting us. We have these coping mechanisms that we end up playing around with at a subconscious level that, you know, it's the limiting belief part of things. It comes in at like the emotional reactiveness. It comes in these dysfunctional ways of behaving, and all of it stems from pain that we experience in our life. And all of us have it. We grow up in a world that is not perfect, even if we have amazing parents, even if we have so much that has been given to us, and many of us have really challenging circumstances from our past. So at whatever stage, whether like at a childhood level or all the way growing up until current time in your life, wherever you are, you've had a lot of painful, wounding experiences. And if those are not, if they haven't been healed at a deeper emotional level, we carry that stuff around with us, and it affects our life in negative ways. And the beautiful gift that I want to give to anybody who's listening is that that can be healed. That can be healed. We can live in so much more freedom and have so much more joy in the journey of our life when we experience healing at these levels. And so I've been bringing you a model that I was trained in back in 2005, a man named Terry Wardle, incredible model for emotional healing. It is a framework that really changed the way that I see life, the way that I operate in things, the way I'm able to heal myself at these different levels, and it's just incredibly helpful to understand and know it. And I have been bringing you this, whole weekend training, expensive. You get it here for free. It's an amazing gift, and so we're just kind of walking through an overview of that model so that you have an understanding, so that you have an awareness, so that you can have more healing and wholeness and freedom and joy in your life. So we talked about it at there's multiple levels. When you have pain, it's almost like when you have pain in your life, that is like the root issue. A lot of times when we have issues physically, we have these symptoms that come out in our lives. And the reality is we can treat those symptoms with all kinds of medications, or we can figure out what is causing this issue going on in my body, and you can treat it so that you actually heal the thing in your life. So you're not dealing with just treating symptoms, you're actually healing it at a root issue. So that's what we're looking at an emotional level. So that's like a metaphor for your emotional healing. Same thing that goes on in our bodies, same thing emotionally. We can treat the symptoms, which I'm going to talk about several different levels that are kind of like, this is how it shows up in life, and we can and we need to treat it at those different levels, but really it's the thing that is creating all of that pain that can be healed at a root level, which is beautiful. So I want to talk about it at all the different levels because I think it's really supportive. So you have how this shows up in your life, just your life situation. What are the things, like when you just think about your life, what's one thing you would love to see change? And almost always you can follow this thing down to something at a root level. If there's something going on in your health, often it's related to some kind of stress or something that you carry around. It's amazing the studies that are done, even where you carry the disease or stress or pain or whatever it is in your body often has to do with certain emotional issues. It's fascinating when you look at the science behind it. It's really, really cool. So it might be something in your health. It might be something in your finances. It might be something relationally. But what is something that is presenting in your life that you feel like this is not working? This is not working for me. Often if you go down, if you trace it down, you'll find that there is some wound at the base of that comes out in a belief system that you have, in some kind of emotional way of reacting in life that is creating some breakdown. It might be a dysfunctional behavior of some kind. Even if it's like really subtle and fairly socially acceptable, it might be creating something in your life that you don't want. So it's really worth looking at this, and it's worth doing the inner work because of the life that it allows you to have when you do the work. It's like when you see something going on in your body, if we're going to go back to that metaphor, and you treat some, you just keep taking Advil, whatever, for the pain, but eventually you're like, this is not good for me to be taking this level medication every day. Like, this can't be good for my liver, whatever. You go, okay, this pain is trying to tell me something. And you go to the doctor, you find out what's going on, you actually treat the thing at the level at which it's like creating the issue. You have the surgery, or you have the whatever, or you do a liver cleanser, you do whatever it is that is creating the problem, and then you heal all of the symptoms from it. It's beautiful. So same thing, emotionally, we get to a place where the pain that it is creating in our life becomes worse than the pain of dealing with the issue. So that comes into play very, very often midlife. If you do a lot of personal development and work, it might be sooner. But I want to say that it is totally possible to find freedom and healing and wholeness. So life situation, just thinking about the life situation that isn't working is where we often start. You just like get to this place where you're like, I've got to deal with this. Like, enough. We got to deal with it. So what is that for you right now? We looked earlier in the week at like, what is one area in your life, whatever area it is, that you feel like this isn't working and I'd like to just deal with it. Then we look at the dysfunctional behaviors. So we look at the ways that kind of shows up in life. And our brain is so amazing and is trying to work for us, but often it creates these kind of band-aid situations where we create these coping mechanisms. We're either numbing pain or we're trying to get a need met in a way that doesn't really work, but it kind of works. So eating disorders would be an example of it. Any kind of addiction would be an example of a dysfunctional behavior. Your brain has somehow told you this is a way to take the edge off of this pain. This is a way to numb this pain. It might be like some kind of form of codependency where you're just like, I have to have this relationship in order to have my needs met. So that would be an example of trying to fill the need. Or you do things that just kind of numb you out. So that might be some kind of denial, like way of dealing with things, or any kind of numbing behaviors that you do that just kind of like take the edge off and cause you to not really deal with the situation. So there are all kinds of dysfunctional behaviors, but that's a way that we then try to deal with our life situation. Below that, we have the emotional upheaval. So that's the place in this model where you just have this emotional kind of reactiveness. We talk about a 10-2 situation where you feel like, okay, if I can like get rational about this is probably like a 2 situation, and I am responding over here like a 10, and I can kind of see that these aren't like in proportion to each other, but I still feel this like, and it could be a lot of different things. Your reactiveness could look like defensiveness. It could look like being in total denial, like I just don't want to look at it. You just like ostrich head in the sand thing. It might be to destroy somebody, like you just fire on them, rage at them, whatever. Kind of like you're really maybe smart or witty or good with your words or can cut people down, whatever. It might be some kind of like destroy the messenger. Could be a whole lot of different emotional reactions that are not serving you. You feel like they actually are causing too much stress in your life, or they're causing results that you don't like, and you don't want to operate in that anymore. And so it's again getting down to the wound that created all of this. So when we have those reactions, it's because it's very familiar to us, something that happened in our past. Like this situation feels just like that situation, and it causes you to like overreact. The reality is there's always a valid reason why you're feeling what you're feeling. The feeling itself is not wrong. It might not be creating a result that you like. It might not be helping you in life really have what you want, and it's worth looking at. It's worth healing. It's worth addressing and doing the deeper work around. But it's not wrong. It's giving you really powerful, really good information. So if you can just look at the dysfunctional behaviors, if you can look at the emotional people, if you can look at the life situation that is going on in a way that is without judgment toward yourself, if you can just get as neutral about it as you can and just look at it like a neutral observer and go, okay, what is this information trying to tell me about where I need to go with this? What needs to be healed? And if you can compassionately come alongside your own heart around this, and that is a way to get to the deeper work. You have to feel emotionally safe in order to go into these places, because it's all of this that is coming out is because there's pain at the core. But the beautiful thing is if you can get down to that and come alongside yourself in a loving way, if you can invite source of love into that place to heal it, then all of these things start to change. The lies that you believe is the next one. So the lies that we believe around the things that have happened to us. So we believe lies based on what has happened. We draw conclusions. We are meaning makers. We're always looking to attach meaning to things that happen in our life. And a lot of it goes on subconsciously. So something happens and we're like, that means whatever it is. And then your ego gets in there, your brain starts kicking into how you're going to deflect that, how you're going to get what you need, how you're going to create meaning out of it, how you're going to respond. And it often goes on at this really subconscious level. So when I learned this model, I was just like, so much makes sense now. I understand so much, and I had so much more willingness to lean into the process of healing and be able to get the healing for different things that happened in my life. And again, nobody goes through life without dealing with this. It might be consciously or it might be subconsciously. You might really do the work and get the healing and live in more freedom and joy, or you might not. You might just like die dealing with all of these coping mechanisms and limiting beliefs and lies and not know why life plays out like this. You might just think you're a victim to a lot of things. You might just think this is just the way your personality is. But the reality is we can find wholeness and healing for anything in our life that is not working. There's a reason for it. And when we can get down to the base of it, where that comes from, where these limiting beliefs that we have, where these lies that we believe about ourselves or about God or about the world or about men or women or whatever it is, often block us from the thing that we really want and need. So when we can look at this process of healing with a compassionate kindness toward ourselves and walk into it with a sense of safety, knowing that we can look at every area of this. We can look at it emotionally, we can look at it mentally, what we believe about it, we can look at it how the emotional reactions come out, we can look at it through the dysfunctional behaviors and the ways that we're trying to get our needs met and protect ourselves. And we can get down to the wound, the thing that created all of the belief system and the emotional reaction, the dysfunctional behaviors and the life situations that aren't working. When we can come into a place where we can actually bring healing to that place and reframe it, it's so incredibly beautiful and powerful. And it's more than I can do in these short videos. Like I can't walk you through the entire model, but it is incredibly powerful. If it's something you want a session around, you're welcome to reach out to me, and I can also refer people to do a lot more of this if I don't have time to do it. But it is beautiful. It's healing. The model that I learned from Terry Wardle, Healing Care is the organization that he started that teaches this model. And the way that he walks people through it is to have a new emotional experience that is more powerful than the old emotional experience that you have written kind of in your episodic memory. So powerful. It uses visualization, it uses kind of guided imagery, and then it's a spiritual experience too. So you actually have this amazing, beautiful encounter with source of love. And it's amazing. I've done this with hundreds of people and just seeing like just such deep, beautiful, powerful healing happen like that. And like lies change, dysfunctional behavior change. Like sometimes in one session overnight, you just see addictions fall off of people. You see whole like different belief system come out of it, because when you have a powerful experience of love in the place where there was pain, it's life-changing. It's beautiful. So if that's something that you'd love to know more about, feel free to message me directly. I can either get you on my schedule, give you more information about it, or refer you to somebody else who does that exclusively. It's just one little piece that I was trained in. It's not what I normally do in my coaching practice, but it is something that I'll do with clients if they get stuck and they ask for it. So it's powerful, it's beautiful. I just want you to know that healing at an emotional level is real and it's available, and it's something that often we feel stuck in these different places, in the limiting beliefs that we have, in the emotional reactiveness that we experience, in the life situation that we're just like, why am I stuck in this place? I can't get past it. So I just want to give you this framework to understand healing, and I hope this has been supportive for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and just sending you so much love today. Hope this is supportive, and have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow.